Good evening, everyone. I've gone ahead and shortened the tunnel portals, as you can see. There's now about probably a 1/4 of an inch clearance over the top of that container. So both portals are now the same height. What I've done is I've flipped them around. This is the back side of the slate, which is milled. You know, when they take the slate out of the ground, they cut part of it, the bottom half, which they leave rough like this, and then the top half, which is, you know, the finished side, is smooth. So let me flip this around. So you can see the difference. That's the smooth side. And then this is the milled side as it comes out. So what do you think about that? Milled side out with the grooves in it. Kind of looks like maybe it was laid up against some forms. You know, kind of by accident, what happened here on the side pieces, the way that I had to cut those out, I've got my grooves running the same way as I do across the top, so it kind of looks like it was all in a form, you know, poured into a form. If you think those are a little bit rough, let me know. I can probably take some really heavy grit sandpaper and knock those down a little bit. But instead of, you know, scoring lines or maybe trying to make it look like it has mold, you know, poured mold marks on it, I've already got those. Let me just show you the other one here. I'm going to run the train back through here so it's sticking out the other side. And I will show you the clearance there. Just walk back around here. So there's the clearance on this side. You can probably see that a little bit better because it's lighter here. So about a 1/4 of an inch. You know, this one may be a little bit taller than that. Maybe 5/16 or so. But, you know, anyway, I like that better. I like it lower. And obviously, I now have a big gap to fill in. So I'm going to do that with plaster cloth. And then I do have rock molds, which I use to create those rocks on the front here of the mountain. So I can pour some rock molds and, you know, maybe saw the rocks in half horizontally and place them on there. So it looks like there was some blasting was done first out of the side of the mountain, and then you know, the concrete was poured in front. And that looks like it's really not level. It's just the angle at which I'm showing this. But and of course my container's tilted here. But anyway, about a 1/4 of an inch clearance. I think that's going to look a lot better. I had one of my subscribers or viewers rather suggested I put a keystone in the center of those. That is a really good idea. I'm afraid I'm going to screw it up though if I try and do that. You know, I might be able to at some point cut one out of some of this material that I used for my parking lots over here, and, you know, just attach it to the front of that. You know, the keystone though, if I do that, probably needs to, the smooth sides probably need to be out. So just some considerations there. You know, let me know what you think, whether you like the side with the grooves or if you like the smooth side better. I'm torn, you know, I can go either way. Oh, just wanted to, let me put the smooth side out again here. So this is dry now. Last night when I first filmed it, it was pretty wet. So it was very dark, but it's dried out now. And so that's the color that it would be. You know, it looks a lot like concrete. And that's the smooth side. You know, I could very easily create a keystone out of some of that material that I use for the parking lots over there, and you know, just attach it to the front and then run a piece up over the top so it looks like it's an actual keystone holding those two sides together. And then also the suggestion with the keystone was put a date on it. So you know, it would reflect when the portal was actually built. So that's a good idea too. Let me just show you. Here's the little triangle piece. Let's see. Let me slide the train back here so I don't knock everything off the tracks. I'm gonna set the camera down again. So now that it's short, you know, if the 45s go in, you know, how close is that going to be? Let me go around to the other side here where the high car is. Pull this back through a bit. And we'll go around here. And set it down on the track. So that's, you know, that's pretty close right there to the top of that car. I think I'm not going to put those in. That is, gosh, that's around 1/8 of an inch clearance there. If I get, you know, any other types of cars, maybe some longer ones, auto carriers and such, I think I would be in danger of hitting that. So, well, at least that made that decision easier. We'll leave the triangles out. You know, I was beginning to like that idea, but I guess they're not gonna work, or at least I would be, you know, afraid to go to the work of cutting them all, putting them in there, and then getting some cars sometime down the road and have them hit. You know, then they'd be awful difficult to take out. I could probably cut them out, I guess, with a tile saw, but for now, I think I'm not going to do that. One other thing that I want to try and get to tonight, I'm not gonna glue these in permanently until I hear from you guys on you know, opinions on rough side, smooth side. So that's our next vote. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to move the table out into the center of the garage, and I'm going to set those silos in place tonight. The vote has been that the silos go there, so the silos are going to go there. I had another comment about adding a switch, a turnout, off of that siding and bringing another siding back this direction towards the back of the guardhouse here, and then putting, you know, some type of a little something or other, you know, a little industry or maybe like a slaughterhouse or something for unloading animals on that on this unloading ramp that I have here. So that would put the loading ramp, I don't know, probably somewhere in that area. I do have, you remember the blue and white building, or the blue and red building that is now sitting back over there just in front of the water heater. Zoom in on it so you can get a shot. That one. I could use that building over here, just, you know, in that area as, you know, some type of an office relative to that team track or unloading ramp. So, you know, I might do that. I'm going to place it in here, get the table pulled out. I'm going to get the silos in place first, and then I'm going to get the silos in place first, and then I'm going to move that building over here, and we'll take a look at it, and I'll ask for opinions again. But I think it's going to work out well. You know, having that siding in there, that's a neat idea. Some extra switching action. You know, pull into the siding towards the grain bin area, and then have to back up and unload here. So that would be kind of neat to be able to do that. So I do have one turnout. Luckily, it is the right direction. That will entail me cutting into the siding, probably just right where it curves there and goes into the straight section. I've got a left-hand turnout, so that the turnout piece of the left hand should fit in there pretty well. And then I'll come off the back side with a straight track here, and you know, bring it back into this area. So I'm going to move the table out, and I'll come back and we'll talk about how I'm going to set the silos. Alright, so hopefully this won't be too boring. I've got my trusty spacer material here, which I use when I need to raise something. And I already know that I need it 3 high because I've had this little chunk of 3 sitting in here to level out the silos. So the first thing I'm going to do is just measure the length that I need along the edge here. And this is going to be, you know, it doesn't have to be real accurate. So I'm just going to put that down there and mark that. And then with my tin snips, I'll cut it, I don't know, I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter because I don't want it to stick out past the end. So I need 3 of these. So I'll just place this on top here. Mark number 2. And do number 3 here. So just real quick and dirty here. Doesn't have to be pretty, it's going to be totally hidden underneath the silos. Alright, so let's see how that looks. Go ahead and stack these 3 together. And just place them in here on the back side. So probably about right there is where they need to go. So I'm going to slide these up under here. And those are a little bit long. I've got some dirt already in place there. I'll tell you what. Let me just dig that loose. It's interfering with my placement of my silos, or my spacers here under my silo. So let me just take that loose. Alright. Put the spacers back in, right up against the edge there. And looks like I need to take some more of this out. I want these to butt up right flush with these other silos that are in here. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of this back in here. Might as well use it for filler. It's not going to be used for anything else. Put some of that in there. Alright, so let's place them now. And I'm going to use the 3 short ones that I had here sitting loose. I'm going to put them right under the back side. Of course, they may be a little bit long. Let me shorten these up a little bit. I want to make sure that I get this nice and flush against those other silos that are already in there. Don't want it to look like it was a homemade project, do we? Alright, so let's place these in here like that. Got some more dirt I need to scrape away. Put that in there. Okay. That's pretty good. There's a little bit of daylight showing through there. I guess that's probably okay. So I want to make sure that I don't have them over too far that they're going to hit any of my hoppers as they come down through there. I think that's going to be pretty good. You know, that's 3's a little high. I'm thinking I may need to take one out now that I see that. It's up a little bit high, kind of pushing things over. Let's try 2. See how that works. Hopefully this is not boring you guys to tears. Okay, I think that's going to be the ticket right there. Yeah, that's going to be good. Alright, so what I'll do next, let me step behind the camera here for just a second. And I've got some of this fine ballast, real fine stuff left which I used for the roadways. And I think I'm going to take some sand that I have first and fill in the big gaps here, and then come back behind that and put ballast just around the edges here. So it kind of looks like it's planted in there as opposed to sitting on top of the table. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to film that piece because it's going to be fairly boring. So what I'm going to do now is take regular old plastic model cement here and glue the spacers together before I finish setting everything in place. So I'm going to go ahead and glue them together and then put some fill in, and then I will come back and show you how that looks. Alright, so here's the finished product. I haven't sprayed or actually put any glue on here yet, but I just wanted to see how it looks with the ballast around the edge there. I found I had some of that dark ballast left over, and I decided to use it instead of that light ballast because I'm going to be using that on the tracks at some point. But anyway, here's the near side and the back. And then let me come around here and show you this side. I think that looks a lot better now with a single color of ballast in there rather than, I had that light sand color before along here, which you can see down along the tracks. It was all that light earthy color, dirt color. So now I've got it all in there. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and spray that with my alcohol and water mixture, and then I'll go ahead and glue that down with my glue mixture. So I can actually show you some of that. Some folks have asked for some how-tos, and so we'll do a how-to on how to use alcohol, water, and white glue mixture. I'm going to set the camera back on the tripod here, so apologize for the shakiness here. Let me just zoom in on that. Get everything tightened up. I don't want the camera to come sliding out of here. Would not be a good thing. Okay. Back this up just a little bit. Okay, I think that's, I don't want to get too close in there. Let me just back that out. Okay, that should be good. So what I have here, in order to break the surface tension of the water and of the ballast, I have a spray bottle. If I can get back around without kicking the tripod. Just a normal little spray bottle. It's probably, I don't think it's a quart, it's probably a pint or so of water. And so I fill this up with water, and I just take some regular old rubbing alcohol and dump it in here. And when I say dump, I don't know what that means. Maybe, I don't know, a teaspoon in there. The more alcohol, the better. You know, you can use straight alcohol. Some folks do. I mix mine with water. So the next step is to go ahead and spray that on there. And I'm going to do that here. Sorry. So just go ahead and spray this on and get that really, really wet. You have to be careful not to get too close, where you can actually pull some of the ballast away, which I've just done. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down first, and if I need to, I can come back later when it's dry and fill in those holes. So here's my 8-ounce bottle of Elmer's glue, and what I use as far as my formula is I take a 4-ounce bottle of glue, pour it in here, and then I fill that 4-ounce bottle up with water, shake it really well, pour that in here. So it's about a 50-50 mix. And then, I don't know, maybe half a dozen drops of soap. Regular old dishwashing soap works well. Any kind of liquid soap will work, but that's what I use. So the next step is to just go ahead and take this glue and water mixture and just go ahead and saturate this area. And with that alcohol and water in there, it just soaks right down through that really well. Alright, so that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side now. So I've got a little bit longer stretch on this side because I've got, you know, the whole way out to the front. I'm going to try and stay back a little bit from here so I don't knock my ballast away. And just cover that really, really well. Let it soak in for a second. The other thing I did too on my gravel driveways and roadways here, I had some N-scale ballast which I've gone over the top of this area with. I don't even know if you can see that. I may be out of the shot, but let me back this up for just a minute. Apologize here. Whoops, that's the wrong way. Alright, I'm going to back this up. So what I've got here are some gravel roadways with ballast on. I'm going to go ahead and hit those as well. Some of the bigger ballast, when the glue dries, it tends, if you get it too thick, it'll tend to crack as it dries because it shrinks a little bit. So I've dusted the top of that with this darker N-scale ballast just to fill in the cracks and make it give it a little bit of a varied coloration, so it's not all one color of gravel. And alright, so that should be wet enough. Come back here. If I'm out of the shot, I apologize, but I'm just putting glue on the back side here, letting it run down into the ballast. Make sure it seeps on down. Get it nice and wet. And then I'm just going to coat the top of these driveways and parking areas as well, just to kind of seal that seal that new ballast that I poured on here. So you don't have to be too precise. You know, with all that alcohol and water, the glue will flow very well, so it'll spread out nicely across there. Alright, so that should about do it for tonight. I'm going to let this dry, and you know, once it dries, I'll come in and I'll fill out where I sprayed too closely to the silos here, and I knocked some of the ballast out. So once it dries, I'll come back and fill that in and do it with glue again. Just wanted to get your opinions here. I've gone ahead. I'm going to take the camera off the tripod here for a second. So here, I apologize about my voice. I don't know if I'm coming down with a cold or what, but so here's that other building that I had in here. You know, I'm thinking about maybe just using it as an office building here. Put it in next to this unloading ramp. You know, just as to give it something like there's a meaningful way or meaningful need to have the unloading ramp here. Otherwise, it'd just be kind of sitting out in the middle of nowhere. What I may do now that I have a loading ramp is I got to figure out a way to get stuff from the loading ramp to the rest of the world. So I could put a gate there and come into the intermodal yard and out through the gate over there, or the other option is to come back this way towards the silos, and you know, I could put a crossing between there, you know, back out that way, or I could actually come around this end of the intermodal yard and come across the tracks here, kind of at a 90-degree in front of the concrete area, right where that engine is. Build a road that way, and then come back here, connect with this road. You know, I think that can all be gravel through there. Don't know that it needs to be paved, so it'll be easy to put in. So let me know what you think about that. Is that a good idea for the building, or should I put something else in there? You know, obviously the placement is not precise at this point. I'll be moving it around and trying to figure out where it goes once I get my siding in there. But so I may do one other thing tonight while this is drying. I may go ahead and cut some of the foundations for those buildings over there, which I talked about. All right, so last update of the evening. You can see I've got the buildings out here in this one section next to the firehouse. What I've done is I've cut the foundation and I've painted it over here. It's sort of a concrete color. It's called Pebble by Krylon, real close to concrete. So I got that one done. It's drying. I have the foundation under these 3 buildings now. So those are in place. Let me come around the front here, and I will zoom in there a little bit so you can kind of get a close-up of what that looks with the foundation. So right now the doors and such are sitting right at sidewalk level. So that looks really good, I think. I haven't glued them down yet. They're just sitting there. Let me come back over here and get a shot of the corner. Kind of zoom in on that. So you can see how much better that looks now that there's a foundation under the entranceway to the door. Looks a lot better. Of course, when I glue that down, it'll be tight against the parking lot. So I've got that done. As I said, this is drying over here. I went ahead and filled in the ballast that I knocked out over there at the silos, so that's drying. And I had one suggestion to put a curb in over here at the entranceway. I've got a piece of slate holding down my curb, but what I did there is I just cut another piece of the concrete. I don't know if you can see it, but now there's a curb there. I guess that's probably, you know, anywhere between 4 and 6 inches of scale foot, or you know, 4 to 6 scale inches is what I'm trying to say. So once that dries, I'm going to go ahead and fill in behind it with ground cover, so that and then draw a little sidewalk on there. You know, probably I don't know, a 1/2 inch wide or so. That'll be around a 4 foot wide sidewalk. And so that is going to be about it for tonight. My battery's low here, so I want to go ahead and get this done and get it uploaded. Let me know what you think. And oh, show you one thing really quickly before I sign off. I now have a load for my hopper, or I'm sorry, my gondola over here. Chunks that I cut off the feet of the sides here, the uprights. Looks like quarried granite. Got 3 of them in there. You guys let me know if you want some of that. I'll sell it to you reasonably cheap. They're heavy, so they'll be shipping along there, but let me know. They're about 1 inch wide, 1.5 inches long, and 3 of them fit really well inside of a 50-foot gondola. Plenty of weight. Thanks. Talk to you soon.